All right, everyone, let's jump right into a really fascinating remedy, Borax veneta, or biborate of soda. Now, this is one you're definitely going to see on your exams, AIAPGET, UPSC, you name it. But what's really cool about borax is that it has these incredibly unique symptoms. Seriously, once you see them, you'll never forget them. And that makes it such a powerful tool in your clinical practice.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the absolute biggest keynote, the mind symptom. Then we'll move through the head, face, and mouth. From there, we'll cover the genitourinary and skin symptoms, and then touch on drug relationships and modalities. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with some exam prep and MCQs to really make sure this sticks.
Right. Let's get into it. We're starting with the absolute heart of borax, what we call its grand keynote. Seriously, if you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. This is the symptom that unlocks the entire remedy.
Here it is. Dread of downward motion in nearly all complaints. That's it. That's the whole ballgame. But what does that actually mean? What does it look like in a real patient? Well, let's look at the original text from Alan's Keynotes to get the full picture.
So you can see this isn't just, a kid who doesn't like swings. This is a profound, deep-seated anxiety. The child literally cannot handle any downward movement. Think about it. Rocking, dancing, going downstairs, even just being put down in their crib. The text says they awake suddenly, screaming. It's sheer panic, and they'll cling to anything for dear life.
And here's the other side of that coin. It's not just about motion. The text says excessively nervous, easily frightened by the slightest noise. We're talking about a cough, a sneeze, lighting a match. It's an extreme hypersensitivity. This really paints a picture of a nervous system that's just completely on edge.
So let's put it all together. You've got this intense dread of downward motion, which you can compare with a remedy like senucula, and then you have this incredible fear of sudden noises, similar to acerem or caladium. These two things, this fear of falling and this startle reflex, that's the core mental picture of borax. Get these two down and you're well on your way.
Okay, so we've got the mental state. Now, how does this all show up physically? Let's move up to the head, face, and mouth, because borax has some really peculiar symptoms here. And yeah, these are definitely favorites for exam questions.
Check this out. We see this really interesting trio of symptoms. First, the hair. Frowsy and tangled, sticks together at the tips. It's like you can't even comb it. Then look at the eyelashes, loaded with dry, gummy exudation, agglutinated in the morning. And finally, the nostrils are crusty and inflamed, with a shiny red tip. Do you see the pattern? It's all about things getting stuck together, matted and crusty.
Now for the mouth, specifically Aphthous, which are basically canker sores or mouth ulcers. The big takeaway for borax here is how incredibly sensitive they are. The text says they easily bleeding when eating or touched. It's so bad it can actually prevent a baby from nursing. And look at the modalities. Worse from touch and worse from salty or sour food. So think hot, dry, and super sensitive.
Okay, moving on down to the genitourinary system and the skin. Pay close attention here, because these are some of the most reliable, confirmed symptoms of borax. These are the ones that are pure gold, both for your exams and in the clinic.
So we've got another amazing trio here. First, urination. The key is that the child screams before the urine passes. That's a huge differentiating symptom. Second, the leucorrhoea. Look at the description. Profuse, albuminous, starchy. And the real kicker? This sensation as if warm water were flowing down. And finally, the skin is just unhealthy. Even tiny little injuries get infected and suppurate. It's a big deal.
Let's just really hammer these 2 points home because they are critical. That scream before urination is a classic. But remember, you have to compare it with lycopodium, senucula, and sarsaparilla. It's a common exam question. Then, for the leucorrhoea, it's not just that it's profuse and albuminous. It's that sensation of warm water. That is your guiding symptom right there. If a patient describes that, your brain should immediately think borax.
All right, so we've got a pretty solid picture of borax now. But how does it interact with other remedies? This is super important for prescribing correctly, so let's take a look at its drug relationships.
And this table lays it all out for us pretty clearly. You can see it follows well after remedies like calcarea, surinum, and sulfur. And after borax, you might consider something like arsenicum or lycopodium. But what you absolutely have to remember is the incompatible column. Stay away from acetic acid, vinegar, and wine. That's a crucial clinical tip.
All right, let's talk modalities. What makes things better and what makes things worse?
This is often the final confirmation you need for a prescription, and with Borax, they're super clear.
And no surprise here, what's at the top of the worst list? Downward motion and sudden noises. See how it all ties back to those grand keynotes. We also see aggravation from smoking, damp, cold weather, and, as we know, right before urinating. And for what makes it better, simple. Pressure. Holding the painful side with their hand brings relief.
Okay, that's the whole shebang for Borax. We've covered the mind, the physicals, the relationships, and the modalities. Now let's consolidate all this for your exams and put your knowledge to the test with a few MCQs.
Here it is, your cheat sheet for Borax. These are the absolute keynotes you need to have locked in. The dread of downward motion, startling from noises, that frowsy tangled hair, the bleeding Aphthous, screaming before urination, that classic leucorrhoea, and the unhealthy skin. If you can memorize this list, you've got the core essence of Borax down pat.
All right, first question. A child screams and clings to their mother whenever she tries to put him down in the crib. This fear of downward motion strongly indicates which remedy. Think back to our number 1, the grand keynote we started with.
Okay, number 2. Which of the following describes the characteristic hair symptom of Borax? Remember that very specific, kind of weird description we talked about from Alan's keynotes?
Question 3. A patient with Borax Aphthous will experience aggravation from which of the following? What did the text say about foods and those sensitive mouth ulcers?
And number 4. The leucorrhoea of Borax is uniquely described as? For this one, think beyond just the appearance. Remember that very specific sensation that goes along with it.
Last one. Which of the following is an important modality of Borax? Go back to that second pillar of the mental state, that extreme hypersensitivity.
And there are your answers. As you can see, every single one is pulled directly from Alan's keynotes. This is exactly why going back to the source text is so important. So go over these points again, really solidify your knowledge of Borax. Keep these keynotes in mind and you'll spot this remedy with confidence. That's all for now. Keep revising.